You're listening to Angel Mama's Pregnancy Loss podcast, where I share thoughts, tips, interviews, and more so you can feel connected, have confidence, and move forward in your pregnancy loss journey. Learn positive mindset, self-care, and be the best version of you. I'm your host, Anastasia Adam. I'm a mum of a 39-week stillborn, have experienced miscarriages, and now have two amazing little women. I've supported, mentored, and coached women to go for their dreams and live their best life through the health and wellness industry for many years. Successful entrepreneur and now holding space for women who have experienced a loss to have a voice. My goal is to be a source of connection so you know you are not alone. You can move through this, find happiness, and create the dream life you have always dreamed of. So let's jump into today's episode. Oh, hello, and how are you going today? I wanted to share with you something that I'm working on right now in my pregnancy loss signature course, and it's called Freedom to Speak About Your Pregnancy Loss. So this is a lesson in Module 5, which is light at the end of the tunnel. But I get really passionate and emotional when it comes to some things like this, like pregnancy loss, of course, and the freedom to talk about your pregnancy loss. So today I'm going to share with you my thoughts and feelings and emotions around this and some ways that you can feel free to share. So, it's really weird. No matter where you are in your pregnancy, there's kind of like an interpretation, a hidden agenda if you're meant to be sharing or not. So whatever you do, I want you to know that there's no right or wrong. But for me, my first two pregnancies that were miscarriages, I hadn't shared them with anyone. It was such a known thing almost, or a secret language that you don't really tell anybody unless you're 12 weeks and you're past that viability, which like they say is the safest space, which is another conversation altogether. And then other people will share from early on because they're excited, they want to share, and they haven't heard those stories or they don't believe in those stories. And I just want to talk about not sharing your pregnancy early on. If you have a pregnancy loss, well, nobody knows that you're pregnant, so you're less likely to have the freedom to talk about your loss. And that person that you're talking to probably won't even be able to come on the emotional journey with you because they don't even know that you're pregnant, which is the whole thing that comes around being pregnant, right? So you got pregnant straight away, or you've had lots of trouble getting pregnant, or you've had to go to intervention to get pregnant and you've been doing this for years, you're finally pregnant. Whichever way you look at this, you're pregnant, you're excited, you're creating life. You're probably feeling unwell, hopefully to some extent, all the joys that comes along with being pregnant. And then something happens. So you don't know if you can share it or not because they didn't even know that you're pregnant. Will they believe me? Or of course they're going to believe you, but all those thoughts that start coming up into your head, and it might make you feel like you don't have the freedom to share your pregnancy loss. And then there's the flip side. You might not want to share if you've had a miscarriage, like I didn't. I do now, but then I didn't. I was afraid, I was scared, I was unsure. I felt like my body had failed me, which is another lesson that we go over in my course. All these thoughts and feelings were creeping in, and I really just wanted to have a viable pregnancy. I wanted to know my body was capable of bringing a baby into the world, and I wanted to know that everything was going to be okay. And when the doctors share, the numbers, the 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 of pregnancy loss, it doesn't make you feel any better. And yes, it's good to know that it happens and it happens often, but it still can't take away how you're feeling. It still can't take away the emotions that go behind that and the process of your miscarriage or your stillborn. Like there's a process that takes place. It's not just like one day you're pregnant and then you're not. So how do we give ourselves the freedom to talk about pregnancy loss. And then we get to the 12 weeks, right? And then we share our story and our excitement, and people are excited. But hang on a second, let me just take you back. If you hadn't shared your pregnancy yet and you lose the baby, and you start telling people, like, why didn't you tell me? So then sometimes you don't want to say it, right? And then if you have shared it before 12 weeks, people are like, oh, that's amazing. Oh, didn't you want to wait till 12 weeks to tell me? Then you go after the 12 weeks and you tell people after the 12 weeks and you get the response of, oh, congratulations, you're pregnant. I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you share this? I would have been so excited and I wouldn't have told anyone. Who made up these rules about when we're sharing pregnancies and when we're not? Because freaking hell, it just makes the whole freedom to talk about pregnancy loss so much more difficult than what it needs to be. Okay, so after 12 weeks, we share it, we have a pregnancy loss. Then people don't want to know, or you feel ashamed, or, all those thoughts and feelings that you hear and see. And some families don't want anyone to know. Other families do. Some people find it embarrassing or like something's wrong with them. But there's not. There's absolutely not. And no, you should feel no shame or embarrassment. And you should not feel like your body has failed you, because it hasn't. I want to give a voice to those people who have experienced pregnancy loss or stillborn, because I believe that there is a process of healing that comes with the freedom of sharing. Now, you might want to share it out loud. You might want to share it to your friends and family. You might want to share it on your socials. You might not. That's okay. I know for me, I created my Facebook page, Creating Happier, Healthier Lives, when I lost my stillborn, not my pregnancy loss. But I know that my healing really came from sharing my story. And I'm so grateful to be giving a voice to sharing a story, because I believe the freedom to talk about pregnancy loss is extremely healing. In fact, tomorrow morning in my other business, I have a doTERRA business, which has allowed me to give me time and space to create my pregnancy loss support group and this signature program. Really am passionate about. I'm talking about how I've wanted to get to this spot, and I've been able to create Angel Mamas, and I get to voice that to thousands of people to speak about pregnancy loss and to bring awareness to it. And I'm so excited. I truly believe healing comes from the freedom to talk about pregnancy loss. So if you don't want to voice it, I want to give you some tips and tricks of how you can have the freedom to share your pregnancy loss. Let it be a start of journalizing. You can journal, you can write it in your diary, you can have a little book that you write it in, you lock it up. You might even want a little beautiful box where you write notes and messages and feelings and emotions, and you put it in the box and close it at the end of the day. Perhaps you also want to create some kind of support network for pregnancy loss. Maybe it's an Instagram page to share your stories, your feelings, your emotions, what you're going through. It might be a Facebook. It might be many different of the social medias. You might want to write a book. Maybe writing your story down and creating a book to share with other mums that experience pregnancy loss, stillborn infants, can pick up and read and relate to. And maybe you just want to be able to talk about it with your partner and not feel like there's a stigma, or your parents, or your best friend, or your neighbor. Because there is so much that comes with the freedom when you're open to sharing your story. And at the beginning, you can feel really closed in. I know when I lost Angel, I had a really successful broking business. I used to sell businesses. Me and my family had a great business, been doing it for over 15 years. And on the side, on my part-time, I was always in the wellness industry, teaching Pilates and PT and group fitness. But our business was our bread and butter. And I was working there at the time. And I remember when I lost Angel, I couldn't go back. I tried to go in a little bit every now and then, just do some back-end stuff. But I could not face the talking to people. I had clients and customers ringing up asking how I'm going. A lot of them knew that my due date was the 12th of May. I think it was the 20th or 21st of May. I lost him on the 12th of May. And I just couldn't face those messages. I was just ground zero. I really was ground zero, and I had to learn to live again. I had no freedom to share my pregnancy loss. I was totally crippled. So with time, I found an avenue and a place where I felt comfortable to share. And with time, I got back to some of those people, but I couldn't go back to all of them. We closed that business because I could not go back to work. I could not just pick up all the pieces and pretend nothing had happened in my life. And I want you to know you don't have to either. But the freedom to start talking about my losses, my pregnancy losses, and my stillborn baby truly has empowered me to feel like I've let go of a load. I've let go of a secret, I guess. It was never felt like it was a secret really, but it just takes a load off. And you kind of, for me, I feel like maybe people can understand some of the reasoning behind some of the actions I do because they know about my pregnancy loss. Like now with my little girls that I've had after my stillborn and my pregnancy loss, perhaps they will understand why I won't just go leave them somewhere often, or for the first few years of their life nowhere. They've never had sleepovers, all the little things. And I'll be the hovering mum. I'll sometimes suddenly freeze when someone says something to me like, "Oh, you're so lucky you don't have boys. Oh my God." And I'll be like, "Oh," people knowing your story, people knowing what you've experienced will help them understand what you're going through, help them understand why. Because most of the time, those people connected with you love you, they care about you, they want to support you. But also, if they don't know, they don't understand, they don't know what to do, they can't relate, it makes it really tough for them as well. So with this, I want you to find ways that you can find the freedom to share and talk about your pregnancy loss. If you would like to jump on a podcast with me or jump into my Angel Mamas Pregnancy Loss Support Group, they're all avenues for you to come in and to share about your pregnancy loss, your experiences, and feel connected with other women who have also experienced the same things as you. I want you to have the freedom not to live under a shell for the rest of your life, believing some reason, something you did has caused your pregnancy loss and you're embarrassed, you're ashamed, or someone, some load. I want you to let go of that load. You deserve to live a happy, healthy life. And freedom, feeling free to talk about it and say, "Hey, I am 1 in 4. Hey, I am 1 in 5. Hey, I'm 1 in 1,000. I've experienced pregnancy loss, stillborn, infant loss." Put it on your social media. Tag me, angel_mamas_au. Let me hear you. Let us together be a voice to let others know that they can share their pregnancy loss too. I am sure there's many people out there that just want to scream at the top of their voice, "I've lost a baby. I've lost a human life. I'm mourning. I'm sad. I'm hurt." With that comes power. We're empowering women to have a voice, to feel connected, to be able to smile when they take that load off, and to feel like there is others that can relate to them and understand where they're going, what they're going through and what they've been through. So big love to you. Empower yourself, journalize, share your story, have the freedom to share about your pregnancy loss. Let it be one person. Let it be your partner. Let it be your cousin, your friend, your neighbor. Let it be the world. Let it be the universe, whatever you want. But feel empowered. Please walk away from this today feeling empowered that you can share. You can share. Have the freedom to share about your pregnancy loss. Big hugs. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode on Angel Mama's Pregnancy Loss. It means so much to me to be able to provide you community, connection, and support to live a happier, healthier life. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd be very grateful if you could leave a review and a rating in iTunes. It really helps to connect with other mamas that also are looking for support through their journey. And if you know someone who has experienced pregnancy loss, please share it with them. If you would like to connect, you can find me via email at welcome@anastasiaadam.com.au, or on socials, head over to @Angel Mamas Pregnancy Loss on Facebook, and on Instagram @angel_mamas_au. I'm looking forward to connecting again soon.